Hey everyone! I'm sitting here next to this tree and to this beautiful little being. Hello! And I'm happy because we've got snow. More snow than I can remember that we had since like the last 10 or 15 years. I don't know. It's just so much snow. It is a hell of a lot of work, and I know it's really hard for some animals, but I'm so grateful and so happy because I've been longing for this so much every winter, because yeah, it just felt so wrong that the winter changed and we did not got any snow, and oh, it was so sweet. I always have to look at her when she's sitting next to me. She's so sweet. So sweet. She's so wonderfully sweet. So yeah, I'm just so damn happy, and I'm sitting here in the snow. I have no idea how long I can continue to sit here without getting a super wet and cold ass, but let's try it out. So I just really wanted to talk with you. I wanted to do this for such a long time already, and I have no idea how to actually start. I've had planned to make a video like this when I finished the winter shelter for the cow. It was like I promised myself that I will focus on the winter shelter before I'm gonna to go too far with my dreams. But even though I have to admit that I still feel like the winter shelter is not really finished, it still feels like, I don't know, it's somehow functioning, but it's so far away from what I wanted it to be, and yeah, a ton of things have not worked out as I've wanted them to, and yeah, but we're surviving. And I've not planned to make big changes in the next time because it's just not possible, especially now with the snow. I wanted to build one, I don't know the English word, where you can put the hay so that the cows can eat all the time whenever they want. I wanted to build one of these, and I've actually bought most of the material, but I wasn't fast enough, and then everything else was so much quicker than me, and yeah, it didn't work out. That might be because I've just like no idea about building stuff like this, and yeah, I don't know, it just didn't work out, and I'm not that happy about it. But anyway, I don't want to limit my dreams forever just because I've failed with this one task. Oh, she's so cute. She's so cute. I always feel like you can't see how cute she is on the camera. She's so wonderful and cute. The cute little bean. I might one day accidentally eat her up because she's so cute. Like a gummy bee. Like a gummy bee. Yeah. This video is having like fantastic quality. So yeah, the topic that I wanted to talk about was actually a little bit different from what I'm going to talk to you about today, but I want to explain you what it was that I wanted to talk with you about. And that is that I have a dream already since like over a year, like 1.5 years. I've had a dream that I really wanted to come true, and it felt kind of unrealistic, but I still kept dreaming and holding on to it. And I've already said like little hints into what it might be or something like, but I never really told you like clearly straightforward what it is. Only a few people know about it. And that is that I had the dream to go on a 3-month long hike with my cows, but I wanted it to do in I wanted to do that in Sweden. And I know that for many people that just sounds completely stupid and crazy. I know. But for me, it just felt and still feels like this is what I'm alive for. This is kind of what I really want to do. Because like my biggest passion of all is being hiking with my animals. And yeah, it's just matching up with the whole picture. I can't, it's so difficult to explain. Yeah, it's so difficult to explain. And of course, Suze would come with us to Sweden. Of course. Would you come with us to Sweden? Yes, she would. Yes. Sweden. Oh. So, yeah, that was a dream. But actually, during the last half year, this dream collapsed in some way. I mean, it's not completely gone, but I have to admit that I have a hard time to believe in it because there are several things that just changed. And one thing, of course, is the coronavirus, because I actually had the dream to do that this year, 2021. That was a year that I was planning to do it. And then just last year, things just got worse and worse, and I was thinking about talking with you about it, and then I thought like, okay, if I start talking about it now, you'll just all think I'm completely crazy. And yeah, I just thought maybe it's gonna get better, but it didn't get better. So yeah, I waited, and at the same time I tried to figure out some informations with time. I tried to figure out stuff about the law in Sweden and everything. And yeah, I found out that I'm not allowed to take my cows on a vacation to Sweden. So the only way how they are allowed to go to Sweden is if they belong to someone who's already living in Sweden. And I'm not living in Sweden, so I'm actually not allowed to take them there. And I mean, that's bad, bad news, but honestly, I would not have been stopped by that. I would not, because I feel it just so strongly that I want to hike through Sweden with my cows that that would have not stopped me. But on top of this, it comes that my cow Molly, she had an accident on the pasture in November, and she got a really bad hip injury. And I mean, she is recovering much better than I expected, and she's already able to walk fine again. But honestly, we are not at a place where I can plan her to walk for 3 months straight in the near future. I have no idea if that will be ever possible for her again. And she's really vulnerable still. So yeah, that's one thing. And another thing is that I have to admit that I have some struggles with my oldest ox. So I personally don't have a lot of struggles with him. But the situation is already since kind of 2 years. It's a topic that is constantly part of our life, is that it's really difficult for me to connect him to other people. And right now it is in a state that I don't dare to take any strangers with us into behind the fence. So I can't, there's only one person who's able to deal with him, but also not as good as I am, and that is Hannah, my little soul sister. She's able to communicate with him well, but she's actually sometimes scared of him as well. And strangers, he honestly has scared people to death. I mean, no one got injured. But people got really seriously scared of him, and I got scared as well. And I have to admit that they got scared for a good reason, because I honestly don't trust him as well. I trust him in some ways deeply, but I don't really trust him enough to really say that he's not going to hurt someone. And that's a big problem if you want to go on a hike through a country where you need other people to participate. And yeah, I just don't feel like I'm able to make that right now. It's just not, if I can't even take someone with me inside to feed him, I can't take people with me on a hike with them. It's just not possible, and that might change because we are working on that in several ways. I'm really excited to share more about that with you, but I just have to be honest, and it's not working, and I don't dare to do it. And of course, one other part is that, yeah, if you're following us a little bit long, you might know that my financial situation is not like one where you could make like big plans. But also that would not stop me. It's just like all the topics all together are just showing me like, no, it's not gonna happen, not now. But that does not mean that I'm giving up or whatsoever. And actually, that I wanted to make a hike in Sweden is also not only because I like to hike with my animals. It also is that I really that I really want to get to know Sweden, because I actually have a deep feeling of a calling inside of me that is telling me that I could envision my future to be in Sweden. That I could envision our future to be in Sweden. And I really feel that that could be true. And yeah, but I've never been in Sweden before. And that might sound totally crazy to most of you, but for me it feels like easier to plan a trip with a whole herd of cows for 3 months than to just like go on a normal vacation for 2 weeks without any cows. That just feels like, for me, like close to impossible. And yeah, also I feel like that would not be a way to actually get to know the country. I would just like get to know like a small area, and it really is not an option for me to go hiking in Sweden for 3 months without my cow. That is absolutely not an option. So yeah, the reason why I want to get to know Sweden is that I really feel this calling, and actually I felt a connection to Sweden all my life. Especially because of all the amazing childhood books that I know from Astrid Lindgren. I love them always. My favorite is Ronja Rövartårta. And also my mom was always a big Sweden fan, telling me that everything is better in Sweden, and I felt like that's just like a dream, stupid stuff that she's telling me. But during the years and during my own like I was starting to try to figure out more about Sweden and learn more, and I actually found out that there really are some of the most important values for me that are much more possible to get in Sweden. And also through my connection with Jonna, I also just deepened my connection to Sweden. And yeah, the most important things are for me nature, and nature is so much wilder in Sweden. There is so much more nature than it is here. I wouldn't say that the nature is more beautiful in general. Our nature is wonderful, but it's just like cut into such a small pieces, and you know, the forests here is so small, and everywhere there are fields and streets and villages and cities, and I mean that's needed in some way. That is how people want to live, most of the people, but I don't want to live that way, and I feel actually really prisoned in some way if there's not enough nature for me. And I'm having this deep longing for real wild nature and for space, and that actually is something else that is much more possible in Sweden. Also the farms and the land is much more cheap, and even though I'm really not in the situation to dream about buying a farm right now, I mean dreaming, I can't dream, but I can't plan because I'm financially just like a whole universe away from that. But in Germany, finding a place that would fit me and my animals is just like nearly impossible. And even if I would find a place that would fit us, the surroundings won't fit us. So there won't be a huge forest or anything like that. And even if I would find something where both of this would fit, it will be so expensive that I won't ever be able to afford it in my whole life. So yeah, and in Sweden that is much more possible, and that of course is really, really beautiful to see. So I spend like every day a couple of minutes of scrolling to the platforms and looking for houses, and yeah, that's just so much fun, and I feel so inspired by that, and that is really, really wonderful. And especially what I said, just I also mean the surroundings. For me, a place where I want to live is not just about the place where I want to live, because honestly I'm living at a beautiful little spot. It's beautiful, and I love this place, and I also love the people living here. But I have to be honest and tell you that even though I love this place, I don't like everything that is happening here. And even though I love the people who are living here in my house and also in the village, they're just so wonderful and super kind people on a human level. But just to give you a perspective, in this village there are less than 100 people living, but there are 3 big farms. 2 really big farms, one with pigs, one with cows, and one also pretty big farm with sheep and also some other animals. And my parents, who are living with me on this farm, they are having animals as well, mainly like chickens and also ducks and gooses and some others. But they are slaughtering some of the animals every year, and that is for me extremely painful. And having like a big cow farm, a big pig farm, a big sheep farm around, it's just a lot of tension for me, and it actually is causing me pain nearly every day just to have that so close. And I mean, I know that if I escape from a place like this and I don't ever see a farm in my whole life, then does not mean that they don't exist anymore. I know that. But I think sometimes it is good to have like some kind of a distance between what is triggering you and where you are. So I hope to find a place where I feel like safe, because here it is like most animals that I met in this area, I know that they are gonna get slaughtered. And if I take a walk through the village, I have to accept that there always is a small chance that I will have bad luck and come along just while someone else is slaughtering a cow on the farm. Like stuff like this happened, and I mean, I don't want to blame the people, because they are living their lives how they think it's the best they can do, and they are actually supporting me a lot, and I'm so deeply grateful for that. But the things I've seen in this places, also as a little child, have honestly been traumatic for me sometimes. And yeah, I just wish to find a place where I'm safe from that in a way that I can just feel, yeah, just safe. And that's really what I'm longing for. And also to have a place where I can really, like, I want to be able to go on hikes with my cows as long as I want to, and to actually offer them the life that they deserve. And yeah, because I want to be really honest with you, and that is that now I'm so sorry every single day, because I feel much more like a slave keeper than like an animal rights activist, because I'm not able to offer my animals the life they deserve. Here it is, especially in the winter, it is pretty little space, and they have to spend the majority of their time just behind fences, and just like, you know, it's just not going well. Honestly, I don't feel like it. I know that many people are writing me comments like, oh yeah, animals have such a beautiful life, and I mean, yeah, honestly, each time I read a comment like this, it's like pain in my heart, because I feel like, okay, that's just a proof that I'm not sharing my whole truth yet. Because even though I try to show like the positive and the negative aspects and everything, people tend to think that this is paradise, but that is not my message. I don't want to show just like how amazing I am and that my animals are living in paradise. That is not my message. When I show like a picture of a cow running through a forest, it's not my message to show like, oh, she's having such an amazing life. I want people to understand that if that is what cows need to be happy, it is actually not okay to keep them all their life in a barn or behind a fence. And that is actually what I want people to see. My main intention is not to be seen like a perfect animal rights activist, even though I would like to be one, but I'm not. I want people to really see what I see when I look at these animals, and I just see so strong and beautiful and free spirits who don't deserve to be kept as prisoners by humans. And yeah, my dream is to live at a place where I have enough space to really give them freedom, and also to give them the opportunity to be independent from me, because right now it is such a heavy burden also for myself that they have to wait for me to bring them food, they have to wait for me to bring them water, they have to wait for me to let them outside to move. They're just so dependent on me, and I believe that it is not possible to have a healthy relationship with someone who is just constantly in need of you to fulfill the basic needs. And my dream is to find a place where there really is enough space so that I could also make things easier with working with huge machines and stuff, that I don't have to spend like 2 to 3 hours a day just with shoveling poop, and 1 to 2 hours was just like moving around hay and straw. And it's just like right now I'm working like 6 hours a day just to fix their basic needs. That is a lot. And my dream is to make it possible that it is much easier for me to do that, and also that they don't have to wait all the time, that they have access to food, that they have access to water, that they are able to get inside a beautiful barn where they are safe from all kinds of weather, but also that they can get outside and just walk on huge pastures much bigger than what I have here. And that is like my vision and my dream. And yeah, that is really what I'm dreaming about. And even though I feel like a whole universe away from that, I just thought I would share that with you, because yeah, maybe just because I don't really know why, because I know that this is not something that might happen like from one day to another, but I want you to know what I'm heading to and what is my goal, and maybe you will understand some things a little bit better from that perspective. And also, I really am dependent on support. I have to be honest about that. I actually have a hard time to ask for help, especially when it comes to the animals, because I have a really, really strong belief system telling me that no one is going to help me and I can't rely on anyone, and it's my responsibility alone to take care of them. And I mean, it's true to some part, and also I can't blame anybody else for this choices that I took in my own life and how I feel personally and everything. But I have to admit that, yeah, I just came to the point where I've realized now that it's not actually true that I'm the only one who's responsible for these animals or animals in general, because you probably know that I also am struggling every day with the fact how much suffering there is in this world, not only for animals, just in general, how much suffering there is. And I'm someone who tends to feel like all of this weight is on my shoulders and no one else cares, and I have to try to figure it out all alone. And of course that's not working. I mean, I know that from a logical perspective, but from my feelings, I always feel like I'm the only one who cares, so I'm the only one who is responsible. And now I came to the point where I realized that this is not true. Just because I'm the only one who cares, it does not mean that I'm the only one who is responsible. And to take my animals as an example, I have not decided that they should live a life of suffering, that they should get slaughtered. So I'm also not the one who is responsible to rescue them. And just because I've signed up for this and I took the responsibility, it does not mean that I'm the only one who's responsible. It just means that no one else is taking the responsibility. That might be true, but it's not that no one else has any. And I also don't want to blame single individuals like the farmer. So it's so difficult for me, because in some way you always can find like someone who is guilty, but I actually know deep inside that that is not the real truth, because actually no one has decided by him or herself that animals in general should suffer and should be used for food or whatsoever. That is a collective decision that we have taken through thousands of years, over and over and over again, as a human collective. So we all all of our ancestors, and we all are part of this choice. And the only one that we can change it is with a collective decision. No one can do that by him or her own. We all need to, at least the majority of us needs to stick together in order to make the change like this. And I'm just really hoping for this, and I hope for this in the small things like my projects, and also in the bigger picture, like that we are just able to make collective changes. And yeah, regarding my small little thing, I just really have to add that, because I mean, as I said, I really have a hard time to say things like that, and I'm practicing so hard, and I'm feeling like I'm just failing all the time, and that's not true, because we already get so much support by so many wonderful people, and I'm so grateful for that. But I just have to say it just clear as it is not enough. So I'm still working, by the way, and that means that I'm just working my ass off, and it's just not going well, and I'm still not able to feel safe. I mean, I've not felt financially safe in many years. I can't remember when I felt like financially safe regarding my animals. I myself have always. I also am not scared that I'm gonna starve, because I'm living next to my parents. I can always go there, but they're not ready to feed my cows and pay 600 euro every month for the hay. You know, that is something that I have to make possible, and as long as there is not enough support from other people, I am the one who has to do it. That's just the truth, because yeah, I have signed up for this job, and it's a heavy one, and I tend to blame myself if things are not going well and it's not enough money there to feel like safe with all the billings. But actually I try to kind of shift that, because I think it's not really the truth. It's not just my fault. It's just, yeah, that the right people haven't found us yet. At least not all of them. Some of them have, like you. And if you are watching now and you are not already supporting us and you are resonating with my words, so the chance is really high that you are one of the supporters that we need. So please consider to hop over to Patreon, for example. There are also other links where you can support us, but Patreon is one of my favorites, because it's giving me some sort of a reliable income. Because yeah, the reason why we survive is, on the one hand, because I'm really careful with spending money. Then it is that I've borrowed money, and then it is that we are getting a lot of surprising support, and that actually means a lot to me. Like, surprisingly, just like money in through PayPal, or money in with the Amazon wish list, and that's just amazing, and that really is keeping us alive. Honestly, it really is. But it is just not reliable. That means I'm always in stress, feeling like, oh my god, is something gonna come or not? And that's the good about Patreon, that it is kind of reliable, and I see what I'm gonna get at the beginning of every month, and it is changing, because you can quit at any time, and that's also absolutely okay. But I think if many people are gonna sign up just with a small amount of money, I mean just like $1 a month, that really is making a change. If 1,000 people are gonna do that, we are gonna be safe. I mean, that is just, yeah, that is just one of my dreams as well, that one day that's gonna work out. I actually thought I would make that work out much faster, but there has been a lot of my plans that have not been working out during the last 1.5 years. Most of them didn't. Some other things happened that I've not expected at all, but yeah. I'm at a place where I see that I really have to change things, because otherwise, if I don't make changes, life is gonna make them. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna be happy with the changes that life is gonna make. So, oh, the camera stopped recording because I've been talking too long. Yeah, I just want to be really honest and tell you that we really need support if we should stick to the path that we are on. I mean, I can always make changes. I can go back to a full-time job. I can, but I don't want to, and I don't want. The reason why I don't want to is not only because I'm so comfortable wanting to sit on the couch all day long. It is because I have a hell of a lot of stuff to do over here, and I have a lot of stuff that I really want to do and that I feel called to, and I have so much passion and so many ideas, but I just never have enough time, and if I'm getting a whole full-time job, I will not be able to keep doing anything of what I really love, and that's scary to me because I really don't want that to happen. And yeah, I'm always like dancing on the cliff to this, and of course, yeah, it might happen some point that I really have to just like stop everything else, reduce everything with animals to the absolute minimum, and do it just to survive. But actually, surviving is not my main goal. My main goal is so much more. Just as my passion is not shoveling poop and carrying hay and water, there is so much more that I really deeply feel called to, but I'm honestly stuck in the everyday life. And if I would have to go back to a real full-time job, I would sink even deeper into this stuckness. So I really hope that there will be another way, and yeah, that I'm gonna find it. Yeah, thank you so much for spending your time with me today and listening, and maybe you have some crazy dreams as well and want to share them, and maybe you have some ideas regarding my crazy dreams, and I'm really excited to find out what the future holds for all of us. So yeah, now my feet are freezing cold, and actually it's my turn to shovel snow now. But I'm hungry and cold, and I've not even started a fire yet. Yeah, let's see how I'm gonna take this day, but we will see each other soon. Bye bye.